I'm Bruce Marshall, and this is the Brampton Now update for the week ending the August 29th, 30th weekend 2020. A succinct, once-a-week hotshot of everything important that has happened in Brampton the previous week and what's coming up. Brampton, unbought and unbiased. Coming up, a little slippage in the figures that Dr. Lawrence Loh actually expected, and so long as things don't go much further, we'll be okay. City Hall opening up little by little as well. Details on that and more coming up in this Brampton Now update. The top stories this week in Brampton. Peel Medical Officer of Health Dr. Lawrence Loh had some concerns, now being realized.
In the past week, it is becoming clear that my previous concerns are starting to come true. We are seeing a rise in cases, though this is expected. Our 7-day moving average in Brampton and Peel has started to trend upwards, and it remains highest in the province, though it remains at the lowest, just slightly above the lowest numbers we saw before civic holiday.
While Loh says he expected this to happen, as he said in the clip,
I understand we would all like to be done with COVID-19, but we're not. And with school reopening around the corner, our best defense for a safe school reopening is to keep COVID cases under control. I know we all want to reconnect, to resume our regularly scheduled lives, but it's foolish to throw away everything that we've accomplished, especially considering the challenges our community faced.
Loh cut to the chase on precautions.
So here's the deal. I know that this year has not been what many of us have envisioned, but if you are planning to travel outside the region, please reconsider your trip. Federal advice still recommends avoiding non-essential travel outside of Canada, and precautions are sensible even when traveling outside of our community. If you do leave Canada for an essential reason, ensure that you abide by the mandatory 14-day quarantine order when you return. If you're a business owner, it's not enough to just have a workplace safety plan. You must adhere to it and ensure that the precautions are followed to protect your staff and visitors. And if you are hosting a gathering, do so safely. Remember to limit proximity, duration, and numbers. I also encourage everyone to download and activate the COVID app as an added layer of protection. And remember that close contact is for your social circle of 10, and the core 4 is essential out of it. Distancing, hand washing, masking where mandated and where it's difficult to distance, and if you're sick, as Mayor Brown said, getting tested and staying home.
City Council chambers are reopening to live meetings again with a limit of 50 people in the gallery at any given time.
On Wednesday, September 16th, Brampton's council chambers at City Hall will reopen its doors to the public. Now, we're going to have a maximum of 50 people at our council meetings, but we will have in-person council meetings again.
Mayor Brown announced a Youth Day coming up online with the city on September 3rd.
I also want to mention today that on September 3rd, we're going to have a Youth Day. Our COVID Youth Support Task Force recognized we need to engage young people. This has been very difficult for young people in our community. And so on Thursday, September 3rd, from 12 to 3 p.m., we're going to have our first ever online Youth Day.
Brampton Fire and Emergency Services is recruiting and looking to make the department look like Brampton.
I should also mention that our fire recruitment is going online as well. We're going to have a virtual Brampton Fire and Emergency Services career day, and we're actually going to be having these sessions targeted to diverse communities in our city. We want to make sure that the Brampton Fire Department reflects the mosaic of the city, and so we're going to do our best to make sure that every community in our city knows how they can go down that path to become a firefighter. Our first session is September 1st, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. With the Black community in Brampton, and we're looking forward to having these sessions throughout the city with every aspect of our incredible mosaic.
In a moment, a little more detail about the gradual reopening of City Hall from one of the reopening task force co-chairs. Ahead on Brampton Now Update.
Hi, I'm Bill Boyce, Fire Chief at Brampton Fire.
Are you interested in a rewarding career which offers flexibility, competitive salary, benefits, and an opportunity to make a difference in the community?
Brampton Fire might be just what you're looking for.
Brampton Fire is looking for caring and compassionate people to join our diverse team.
I've been in the fire service for 19 years, and it's been a wonderful experience and an absolute privilege to be with Brampton Fire.
I've been a firefighter for 25 years, and I love being part of a supportive, tight-knit group that helps the Brampton community in its time of need.
Please join us on Tuesday, September 1st at 7 p.m.
for a virtual career information session for members of the Black community. Learn about the diverse career opportunities available to you.
Careers at Brampton Fire are open to everyone. I look forward to seeing you there.
I hope to see you there.
Hope to see you there.
Hope to see you there.
This is the Brampton Now Update. I'm Bruce Marshall. Brampton Regional Councillor Martin Medeiros is co-chair of the city's reopening task force, and we have some plans for the gradual reopening of City Hall within some strict limits. Here's Medeiros from the city's press conference this week.
With everyone working hard to contain the virus, I'm pleased to say that we are now ready to open City Hall doors Wednesday, September 9th. At this stage, all corporate facilities will reopen on an appointment-only basis to allow for sufficient physical distancing and other safety and hygiene measures. Walk-in visits are not permitted. The facilities reopening on September 9th include City Hall, Williams Parkway Operations Center, city offices, Flower City Community Campus, Civic Center, and all other city administrative buildings that were previously closed.
There are also new routes opening up on Brampton Transit as of September 8th. Check bramptontransit.com for information. The city of Brampton has revealed the fine structure for the speed cameras that go into service soon. 15 kilometers over the limit will get you a fine of $95. 40 kilometers over the limit has a fine somewhere around $600. The cameras have gone in areas where there is a lot of potential for conflict between cars, bikes, and pedestrians. In related news, Brampton City Councillor Charmaine Williams is offering her Please Slow Down signs once again. The signs are displayed by residents on their lawns asking motorists to slow down in the neighborhood. Such programs have been found at the top score in terms of effect. Since the message comes from the neighbors themselves, there's a moral imperative that city signs just don't carry. Go to pleaseslowdown.ca to order yours. And while the signs have been a bit of a tempest in a teapot here in Brampton, in many other places, like Toronto, the signs are part of the city's engagement on slowing traffic, which is executed by the city itself. Coming up next Wednesday is the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. The city has an online memorial. I'll tell you about that in a moment. And one of Brampton's SIU investigations is drawing to a close. Ahead on Brampton Now Update. Bruce Marshall, and this is the Brampton Now Update. The investigation into the Peel police killing of 26-year-old 𝗕𝗿𝗺 Campbell, a Brampton resident who died April 6th in an encounter with Peel police, is drawing to a conclusion, according to the Special Investigations Unit. The outraged Campbell family has been supported by justice advocates across Brampton, and they in turn have been supporting the family of Ijaz Chowdhury, who was likewise killed by Peel police. In the first 6 months of 2020, there were 5 shootings of citizens by Peel police. 3 people died. In one of the cases, the officer involved resigned almost immediately and has now been charged with 3 serious criminal offenses. On Wednesday, September 2nd, the city of Brampton will commemorate the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. The Brampton Remembers webpage will feature video messages from Mayor Patrick Brown and Brampton World War II veterans Pilot Officer Bill Burrell and the late Colonel Edward Conover, as well as more information on the history of this important anniversary. Go to brampton.ca/Brampton Remembers on September 2nd to take part. Family and the community came together last Saturday to mourn the loss of 𝗕𝗿𝗺𝗺𝗺𝗺, the young 22-year-old student from Punjab who was allegedly murdered by two 16-year-old assailants for his cell phone. A $50,000 fundraising drive quickly reached its maximum to send Singh's body back home to Punjab for the funeral. In a moment, what's ahead in Brampton this weekend and this coming week on the Brampton Now Update.
This is your invitation to hear our stories, to engage in our traditions, and connect with our history. Connections as varied as the land. Come experience our country's heritage. Find and book your authentic Indigenous experience at indigenous-canada.travel.
You're watching Brampton Now Update. I'm Bruce Marshall. This weekend and ahead in Brampton, chart-topping indie pop artist Virginia to Vegas brings his platinum-certified indie pop choruses and sticky electronic melodies to the Rose main stage live, streamed straight from the Rose stage to your home. That's Friday night, 8 p.m. Go to facebook.com, The Rose Brampton. Brampton Farmers Market is Saturday. Details on the market and protocols at brampton.ca. Register now for the nonprofit online workshop series with the Peel Leadership Center. The next session coming up on Tuesday, September 1st, 10 a.m. on managing financial pressures and risk during COVID-19 with an expert speaker. Spread the word. For details and registration, find the link at brampton.ca. Boys and Girls Club of Canada announced a National Youth of the Year initiative that celebrates youth leadership and achievement at boys and girls clubs across the country. Go to bgcpeel.org for information. The Journey Neighborhood Centre, with 2 Brampton program locations, is opening a thrift store in downtown Brampton at the beginning of September. It will be on Nelson Street near the YMCA. Brampton Music Theatre has a fundraising contest called Catch the Ace. It's at bmtcatchtheace.ca. BMT also continues online training programs on their website at bramptonmusictheatre.com. The City of Brampton's COVID-19 Youth Support Task Force presents Youth Day on Thursday, September 3rd from 12 to 3 p.m. Join them for an exciting lineup of speakers and an open Q&A streamed online. Youth Day is a virtual space for young people to hear stories of hope, learn ways to cope, and stay inspired in 2020. Go to brampton.ca for more information. Coming up, Brampton under COVID-19 for the long haul. My thoughts on that coming up next on the Marshall Rant on the Brampton Now Update. I'm Bruce Marshall, and this is the Marshall Rant. Well, we seem to have made it through COVID-19 thus far. Anyway, steady as she goes, as is the nautical saying, at least for now. But that doesn't mean that we won't see another storm. Indeed, we now have to act as if another storm is a certainty. It probably is. As Peel's medical officer of health has expressed in the weekly Brampton City briefings, things are moving in the right direction here. But again, this is hard won. We've lost plenty of people so far in this war, but not near as many as we could have. That is thanks to our emergency and medical services who went above and beyond the call. Here in Brampton, our own Osler Health System performed admirably. Mayor Brown is continually praising their testing rates, which consistently lead Ontario. At Brampton Civic, things were tense, but never overwhelmed. That is thanks to everyone else in Brampton, really. Thanks to people like you, who stayed home, or like you, who were one of the essential services. Thanks to those who understand that our protection is layered. So keeping distance, wearing a mask, limiting the number of trips out are all part of the layering of precautions that we undertake. And thankfully, the vast majority have complied. But it ain't over. The best estimates are that we'll have to continue with precautions of some layers for months or years. So this will be a new normal for quite some time at least. Many say we'll never go back to some things that were normal. However, as a sidebar to this are the new economic models talked about that have come out of this. There are many people who are reevaluating the importance of living a life versus living for a job. And we must remember that COVID-19 is not going into remission anywhere else in the world. Places like the US, Brazil, and India still seethe with the virus. Some don't like the comparison of the pandemic to a war, but it does draw this parallel. In Britain, in 1914, the first year of World War I, the idea that the war would be over by Christmas of 1914 was rampant. Many figured that the Allies would bring so much power of technology to bear that they'd overwhelm the Germans. But that was not to be. Similarly, with this war. Many thought that this kind of thing was impossible, that medical technology had taken us beyond the possibility of pandemics. Oops. Like World War I, this won't be over by Christmas. We may have years to go yet. Let's be prepared for that. Let's take the precautions we need to defend ourselves and others. Apparently, this is our war, or at least the time when every citizen is called to do their part. That doesn't mean being gassed by Germans, nor standing in trenches for days until your feet start to rot off. It doesn't mean storming the beaches of Normandy. It just requires us to do the 4 core. Keep your social distance, wash or sanitize your hands frequently, wear a mask, and get tested if you feel ill. Surely, that's not beyond anyone. And it surely doesn't equal what society was asked to do in the other great efforts of society, such as the 2 world wars. What do you think? Leave your comments below or get back to me. I'm Bruce Marshall, and that's it for this week. Please subscribe to the Brampton Now Update channel on YouTube or follow Marshall Minute on Facebook for lots of Brampton need to know that you won't find anywhere else. Your comments and suggestions are always welcome. And if you've got a Brampton story to tell, get in touch with me through the channel you're watching on right now. Stay strong, Brampton. Brampton strong. We're all in this together. I'm Bruce Marshall. Thanks for watching Brampton Now Update.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.